I bought this 1979 Morgan 38-2 sailing boat at the age of 23, I'm 24 now, with only 7 days of sailing experience. On January 18th, 2016, I boarded a plane in Kansas City and flew to South America with just over $1,000 to my name in a backpack full of camera gear. How did I go from living out of a backpack to owning a boat? That's a good question.
This video is sponsored by Google Chromebook.
So tell me about this experience. December 2015 was one of those life is really hard months.
Yes, I'm familiar with those. I've had those myself.
Moving forward, I felt as if I only had two options. The first option was to continue down the road that I had digressed into. I tried to look at the long-term consequences and see where the path would lead.
What did you see at the end of the road?
It seemed that it went down a dark road of depression and inevitably ended in suicide.
Did you have any other options?
The other option was to stop bitching and moaning, get outside, and do new things. For me, it took tough love, honesty, and courage to get myself out of a depressive state, but by far the most important thing was to actually be doing things. But everybody is different. If you feel like you need help, definitely talk to somebody and find a goal to strive towards. But what worked for me was the call to adventure. I travel hacked a plane ticket to South America using credit card rewards. I embraced the vagabond in Paraguay, Argentina, Chile, again in Argentina, back over to Chile, and then north to Peru, shooting photos of hostels along the way, couch surfing, and the occasional roadside campsite were the methods that I used to keep my costs down. The whole time creating videos and walking into debt, credit card debt. I got word that there was opportunity in New York City, which is actually a place that I lived previously for about 3 months. I bought a ticket and left South America from Lima, Peru to New York City. I got to the city and I paid for a shared room in a 3-bedroom apartment in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm living with quite a few people, and one of them almost got sexually assaulted this morning while there were still other of us in the apartment. We got together and stopped it.
For $750 on credit. I then realized that the opportunity had disappeared. I had negative monies, no direction, but I had a strong will. The sacred stubbornness, the American spirit, and the refusal to give up. Ambition! These pants, blue shirt. I went to Massachusetts and I worked on a fishing boat, squid fishing. In 1 week, I made $1,800. I borrowed some money from my mother, and then I purchased for $2,000 my van, Gladys. I then converted said van for 3,000 credits. Ah! Do you hear that? It's the call to go west. Manifest destiny. Back when I was in Maine, I filmed Captain Mike's tiny house cabin in the forest in Maine, and that spawned alternative living spaces, which I relentlessly filmed while I explored the United States of America, a bit of Canada, and eventually down to Baja, Mexico. In October of 2016, I worked as a migrant worker and I earned about $3,000, which floated me into 2017. And on January 2nd of 2017, I posted this video, which made January 2017 the first month in my life that I had made more on my own than I'd spent. I was officially a working artist. With less than 1 day sailing experience, I decided that in the summer of 2018, I was gonna sail the Mediterranean. So I took to Reddit to ask for any help that I could possibly get towards realizing this vision because I had zero idea what to do. I received some helpful links, a realistic, cynical comment, and some dude that was trying to sell me his boat from halfway across the planet that I kind of dismissed as like totally a scam. I went down to Mexico and I got scuba certified and I gained probably about 6 hours of sailing experience. Still confused as to how I was gonna be able to afford a sailboat in the Mediterranean. I just booked a 400 square foot suite on a 14-day transatlantic cruise from Miami, Florida to Barcelona, Spain. That ship was leaving on April 22nd, whether I was on it or not. Quick aside about transatlantic cruise ships, also known as repositioning cruises, is counter to popular belief. They are actually like a super affordable option to get yourself across the planet, especially whenever you consider the amount of days that is included as far as goes as lodging and food. Anyway, I created a crew call. I'm looking for 2 team members to come aboard the ship. I flew down to Florida and I took a 5-day sailing course with Reef Runner Sailing. Tara and Jackson were chosen and they met me down in Miami, Florida on just about 3 weeks notice. Without a boat secured, we boarded a ship that was gonna take us across the Atlantic Ocean to Barcelona over the next 14 days. We bonded rapidly as we took advantage of our days on the water, and actually about a week before we arrived in Barcelona, we secured a boat. And we actually secured the boat from the Reddit post that I posted back in February for $10,000, which is a third of the original proposed price. On arrival in Barcelona on May 6th, 2018, we disembarked the cruise ship and we boarded our new home, this sailing vessel. I paid Andre, sorted some paperwork, we sailed, repaired the boat, and renamed the boat, and then voila! Floating Oar Productions Inc. was the official owner of this 1979 Morgan 38-2 sailing vessel named Ariandrod. And that's how I went from living out of a backpack to owning a boat and sailing the Mediterranean!